What's up, nation? I am just sat in the car waiting for Jason to get in from Michigan, and I was just sitting here quietly thinking about a few things, and I started thinking about something we discussed or touched on a little bit already recently, and that's the issue that a lot of us seem to have with eating out or eating around at friends' houses, and basically in any scenario where our control over what we're eating is somewhat limited. And I was just thinking about this story that I heard, and I hope that this story will resonate with some of you and maybe give you something to think about the next time you're eating out as well. I'm also going to give you some helpful little tools too. So anyway, so let me preface this with this story, and it's a great Hindu story about this lady who desperately wanted to meet Lord Krishna. And so she goes off into the forest and she kneels down on the forest floor and she closes her eyes and she focuses on her breath and she begins to meditate and pray for the god to appear before her. And lo and behold, Lord Krishna, he suddenly appears. And so he walks down the path in the forest towards the lady, and he silently approaches her and just taps her on the shoulder. And without so much as even opening her eyes, the lady responds, "Get lost. Can't you see I'm very busy meditating on an important goal?" So, I thought this story was really funny, and for some of you, maybe you might not quite get the point. Perhaps this other analogy will help you. I'm sure some of you have heard the expression, "You can't see the woods for the trees." And what that really means is that you're so hyper-focused on one particular detail that you're missing the bigger picture. And so how does that really relate to flexible eating? Well, I think it relates because for a lot of us, we get really consumed with that desire to be precise and to hit 000. And whilst I definitely encourage you guys to be as consistent and precise as you can be when you're at home and you're cooking and things are relatively easy to control, what's really the bigger picture is that you're tracking your macros, you're ensuring that your body is getting the right proportions of nutrients that it needs, and that's the bigger picture. And you're also improving this relationship that you have with food, right? So that's the bigger picture. So when you are out and about and you're having to eat out at a restaurant or at a friend's house, I want you to just allow yourself that little leeway, all right? Don't get all crazy out of control and just say, fuck it. That's not what I'm saying, okay? We had a little chat yesterday about throwing in the towel. We're not throwing in the towel. What we're doing is we're just allowing ourselves to step back and look at the bigger picture. So what is the bigger picture? For me, flexible eating, it's about ensuring that I get the proper proportions of macronutrients, right? Yes, okay, it's, like I said, it's important to have that precision, but you can have a little bit of a leeway and still ensure that you're pretty much where you need to be with those proportions. And what else is flexible eating about? It's about having a much better relationship with food so that you can go out and enjoy yourself and eat the food that you love, right? So why then are you getting stressed out and anxious about these eating out scenarios? That is not what we're trying to do here. All that serves is to create these situations where you actually feel somewhat negative towards the whole flexible eating lifestyle, and potentially you could start to destroy this amazing lifestyle that you've cultivated. So don't get bogged down in the minutiae, right? Just allow yourself to step away and have a look at what the bigger picture is here, because ultimately we want to be doing something that is sustainable, that you can do for life, and something that you are developing a positive relationship with, right? So a couple of tools to help you with that. What I like to do is I consider my focus. So what's my focus here? Okay, my focus is to make sure that I am getting the correct proportion of macronutrients. Alright, so in an ideal situation, you'd be as precise as possible. But if you're out at a restaurant, it's not a chain restaurant, it's not Chipotle, you can't type something in and magically all the correct macronutrients appear. You're at a fabulous restaurant where they have this gourmet burger. What are you going to do? You're going to choose something in the app that's as similar as possible, alright? Don't spend 5 minutes debating whether or not it's accurate enough, okay? Put something in, have a quick look at it, make sure it's not crazy and it doesn't say 0 grams of fat. You know the drill, alright? And then move on, okay? Because you don't want to take away from the experience that you're having, and you don't want to take away from the experience that your friends are having. If you're sat there tapping away on your phone for 20 minutes, umming and ahhing whether or not this burger is accurate enough, alright? So try to tap in and remember what your ultimate focus here is. It's to ensure that you are as close as possible to your macronutrients, alright? And then 2, you want to think about sustainability. So is what you're doing sustainable? Ask yourself. Is sitting here plugging my entire meal item by item sustainable? Am I going to really do this every single time that I go out to eat or go around to a friend's house? If the answer is no, then you need to come up with another way in which you can make that sustainable. Maybe you accept that you'll do it a little less, or maybe you'll just get a little bit better at planning in advance and choosing something off the menu, or maybe you'll go for another strategy, which I know Jason tends to use because he saves a lot of his macros for the evening, and you can just give yourself that big buffer, right? We talked about that the other day as well. So give yourself a huge buffer so that you know you're not going to be anywhere near exceeding your macros, alright? And then lastly, I think you can ask yourself, is what I'm doing helping me progress? What is going to be the outcome of what I'm doing right now? Or what's the other way of putting it? How is this working for me? And if you can honestly sit there and say to yourself, yes, this is helping me progress, because although I'm not being super accurate, I'm still keeping track, and it's making me still stay relatively accountable to keeping on track, then awesome, you're doing the right thing. If it's just not working for you and you're in the middle of a meltdown, then clearly whatever you're doing needs to change as well. So focus, sustainability, and then what's the outcome? Ultimately, we're looking for progress, not perfection, okay? And for me, I think the most important thing about flexible eating is that it's flexible. So allow yourself the little leeway, be flexible, enjoy the food you love, and don't stress out about eating out.